Hey, it's Natasha Bailey from Soul Mission. How do we remove entities? What is the process? Well, I highly recommend doing an auric and chakra clearing. I find that simply infusing the person with something like Reiki actually does them a disservice. Why? You're feeding the entities in that moment. You know, the entity is already feeding on your light energy. You know, don't then, give yourself Reiki or give your customers Reiki, because it's going to feed the entity. It's a bit like a leech attaching to you, and it sucks and sucks and gets big. That's what happens when you're giving somebody for example, Reiki treatment, and they have entities in them. They'll feel okay for a while, but then again, they will slump. They will have a slump in their energy. Different entities may require different treatments. So an entity like discarnate, it may be sufficient to do an auric clearing. Astral parasites may also require a chakra clearing because they attach to the cones, to the chakra points. So this requires a slightly different treatment. And again, attachments like chips and implants, often placed by negative alien groups, that I find requires a different kind of healing, a quantum healing. The important thing is that you are using frequencies that are of a high enough vibration to do the job. And most standard holistic healing treatments are not geared up for that. They are great at working at the lower dimensional levels, like the emotional level, the physical level, but not necessarily at the spiritual light body level. So if you want to know if perhaps your healing modality that you're using does help, get a pendulum out and douse on it. Ask your higher self, what entities will my modality remove? And find out. I had to find out through trial and error what worked and what didn't work. So, and the thing about the entity removals, depending again on what kind it is, but let's talk about the discarnates as an example. Often there is a attachment to you, the host, by the entity. It can be a loved one that's passed on, that's not ready to let you go. They might have an addictive, codependent relationship with you, and so they want to stick around and sit in your aura. I personally have seen this and experienced this in a family member of mine, where my grandfather sat in my family member's auric field and would burst through with aggressive and hysterical outbursts. And when I would look this family member in the eyes, that was not my family member. That was somebody else working through that person. So with discarnates, what happens is we first of all say a prayer that the highest good will be involved in this situation. And we first send healing to the discarnate in a particular way that makes the discarnate realize that it no longer has a purpose to sit in that person's aura. And by meeting it with love and light, it surrenders. It basically gives up the need to stick around, and it's invited and encouraged to go to the light. It's forgiven, and it's encouraged to go and get the healing that it needs to overcome the reasons why it attached to the person in the first place. and they will usually feel regret and sorrow for having attached the person, and they will move on. The second step, which is very important, is healing the person, or that part of the person that allowed that entity to attach to them. There is a symbiotic relationship between discarnates and the people who allow them to attach to them. On an unconscious level, there may be unresolved trauma that's attracting these discarnates in, or they may have had a previous relationship with the person, with the discarnate, that is unresolved, and that's why they stay connected. Maybe it was a codependent relationship, and they still have to work out the reasons of their codependency. So we also make sure that the person, the aspect of the person is healed, so that, you know, that entity can't come back, or any other entities. So that's really, really important. It's not just about releasing and inviting the discarnate to move on, but it's also healing the person so they don't invite new entities in. So, and by the way, all these Hollywood movies about entity removal or exorcisms, it's a lot of drama. In most situations, it's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. There can be sadness at saying goodbye and letting go, and emotions may come up, and that is perfectly normal. But none of the head turning, twisting that you see in Hollywood movies. Well, I've never come across that. Okay, so I hope you found that interesting, how all that happens. If you are curious to see if you have any entity attachments, I'm going to put a link down below so that you can book to speak with me and get an energetic check, and some suggestions what to do to get that resolved, because I do offer entity removals now. Amazing. I wish you a wonderful, blessed day all the way from sunny and hot London. Sending you so much love. Mwah.